I think if I hear you call me Becky one more time, six-pack, I'm gonna pop your tops. All six of them.
Who are you?
Hey, this is Matt once again. We're back to another video, and there's another paid request, this time from Guillermo. Thank you so much for that. And this is The Devil's Doorway. Now, this is another found footage film, and one I've never heard of. Well, frankly, a lot of them I had not heard of. But that's the interesting thing with Guillermo. I appreciate not only his generosity, but a lot of times a lot of films I had never heard of. And while by the end of this, it follows the typical found footage formula, which gets tiresome. I mean, there are found footage films or fake documentary films that I've seen that play off a little bit differently, like Exists, As Above So Below, The Tunnel, Butterfly Kisses, and those are more drawn towards. So I wouldn't say I like the ending to the film. I would say, though, that I don't know if I could say I hated it, just because there's been so many worse found footage movies. It's short. It went by quickly. It's supposed to take place in the 60s, so it's done in 16mm, which I find that kind of neat. Because I miss that old school type of filming, whether it be 35mm or in this case 16mm. So it made it seem a bit different compared to other films and compared to a lot of found footage films. I don't mind the setup. Part of me wishes this was not a found footage movie, because the acting, and maybe that's really the big detriment to the film, is that this should not have been a found footage film. I mean, you can make an actual film in 16mm and still tell the story, but then because it's not a found footage film, it wouldn't fall into the pitfalls of a found footage movie. For example, the ending, among others. Because the actors aren't too bad. The story set up, because it's the 60s, it's with the Catholic Church of Ireland. And the Magdalene Laundries, I believe it's called, which is based on a real thing apparently, where there were places that were not the best, where women were held in these asylums and kind of put to work like in a factory, and these were women who were prostitutes, or they were unmarried pregnant women. And one of the dirty secrets regarding the Catholic Church, I did not know anything about this, so that made it interesting. And that's what I mean, I wish you could still make a horror film or a thriller, but this is kind of an interesting idea, backstory that could warrant more of a movie. And a horror movie too. It just still wore in a horror movie. In fact, I would have preferred a horror thriller where our lead characters, you have this older priest, which I forget the actor's name, but I rather liked him. I thought he did a really good job. This older priest who's a bit cynical, doesn't really believe in miracles. Then you have the younger one who's with him who does believe. He's very easy to believe in miracles. These two are sent to this place because there's these bleeding statues that supposedly bleed blood. And then the older guy, Irish guy, I think he's Irish, he doesn't believe in this stuff. He says the only evil that he's seen is the humankind. I actually would have liked it if the story was he was right, it was the humankind, even though a lot of it seemed like it'd be supernatural, and then you get into the horror story of them dealing with these awful, evil nuns who are really fucking over, almost to the point of torturing these women in these factories with the conditions and all that. In the name of God, the Catholic Church. That's what I mean, like, with these actors and even the way it's filmed, 16mm, like, you do really... Or in fact, you want to do a found footage, do a found footage thriller. Doesn't have to be a possession horror movie. Do a found footage thriller. Like, this is the secrets of the Catholic Church, and they found out the secrets, but then the conspiracy... And you'd have text where the two priests were... One left and found a place to settle, and one went to work at a fucking Starbucks, or if it was the 60s, went to work, I don't know, worked ice cream. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here. That's what I mean. I wish it would go in that direction. Because really what you get then is the priest hears scary sounds. He hears kids laughing. I didn't mind the bit where he turns and there's these curtains and you see these handprints go through the curtains. Like bleed through it. And a little kid jumps out. Which then I'm thinking, because the older priest doesn't believe him, couldn't he just show the older priest? It seemed like there was the camera, and then it seemed like there was a projector as well. I was wondering, like, couldn't he show the priest? No, this is what I saw. Look what happened. Maybe I'm wrong. I thought he had a projector with him. Yeah, I could be wrong on that. I would assume he would have brought one if you're filming that, so you could check to see if the footage is all right. And if that's the case, you have the evidence. Show the priest that, but what do I know? I could be wrong on that. If so, I apologize. So there's a point where all the statues are bleeding, and you find out it's actual blood, but then the older priest says, well, this is actual blood, but it's from a pregnant woman, and we have to find out who that is. And like I said, the acting is rather good, especially the older priest, and like the head nun, where she seemed like a nasty piece of work. And the older priest like, I'm going to tell my superiors what you're up to. And she's like, yeah, you go ahead, you do that. You know what? You'd be surprised. I think you'll be surprised that they won't be surprised. You know, the condemnation of the upper echelons of certain revenues of the Catholic Church. But that's something that could be an interesting thriller, like, aspect to it. And maybe these two have to defeat these evil nuns and save these people, but then, okay, they're saved, but then the camera is taken and supposed to be destroyed, but it didn't get destroyed. I don't know how you worked it. Most of these found footage films, you're always wondering how the fuck did they get the footage anyway, or why the footage wasn't just destroyed anyway. Like this footage from 1960, how was this footage found? Why wasn't this footage destroyed? Apparently ghosts and all that shit don't care about destroying footage. They like the footage, I guess. It's like, now we're just going to keep it for a couple decades. You fucking look at it now. Maybe ghosts are just that fucking bored, or They don't know how to break a fucking camera or... I don't know. Pretty much one thing leads to another, and they find a younger lady pregnant and chained up. There's crosses all around her. They're wondering, why do you have her like this? If you've seen enough of these movies and you read the title, you already know it's exorcist time. She's possessed. And that's what I mean, like, this whole idea you have is more interesting than just another fucking possession movie. Like The Last Exorcism and 50 other 50 other found footage movies. Not just 50 movies. You find 50 other fucking found footage films that deal with possession. Now, this has more merit than, say... What the fuck was that one? The Devil Inside My Ass, as I call it. This actually has decent photography to the 60mm. The acting is better. It does have an ending, unlike The Devil Inside. It does have an ending. So strange how that got a theatrical release, but a film like this, well, nowadays, they're like, nope, found footage going straight to video. Or VOD. But yeah, this girl's possessed. They get a doctor. She says she won't survive childbirth. And also something weird is a virgin pregnancy. At one point she floats up in a bed. At one point her hand catches on fire. The pregnancy happens. At one point the head nun tells about maybe they sold babies? Which seems like it could be an interesting line of questioning. Like, okay, where is this going? Well, we sold them to good homes, but then, I gotta be honest, I got a bit confused by the third act. I will admit. There may be certain pieces of dialogue that passed over my head, so I apologize. But our two priests, they hear baby noises. So the girl gave birth. Did the girl run away with the baby, or is they're just hearing baby noises for the shits and giggles of it? And then they get into these underground caves, and then there's bones, and then I guess some kids died there, and this is the spirits of the kids. But then it made me go, well, why are there bones here? Did the nuns kill the kids? Did the kids go up here and just die willy-nilly? Did the nuns kill the kids and bury them here? I would want some more clarification on that. And then, okay, well, so far we've witnessed kids laughing or scaring the younger priest, statues falling, breaking, or bleeding. Where did the evil possessed nun come from? Because now this nun is possessed? I'm trying to, like, was that the head nun? Did she die? And then her body was possessed? Kills the cameraman. And then the older priest, he makes praying to God, prays for God's help. Which then always makes me kind of mad in this, because, I want to believe, of course. As like, well, how come it's always the evil ones that show some kind of sign, but God is always silent? I actually think that'd be kind of fun to do one of these found footage movies where you think it's the typical ending is evil Satan, someone prays, and guess what? They pray work and God comes in and kicks someone's ass, or some kind of light, or some kind of hope, or some kind of... It's always the one way. It's always the demon, the devil. In these movies, you never hear from God, the good. You only hear from the bad. And you know why. Yeah, it's kind of it just makes me question stuff then in the worlds of these movies. That they're doing all this stuff, but here's a guy praying to God for help. I want God's help. And it's like, well, you found the mass, you think you found the baby, there's nothing there, and you got killed. The end. And that's what I mean. It just kind of... I think of it this way. I have a list of found footage films I've seen. Because one day down the road, I would like to do a list of my favorite, the least favorite. But that would take a lot of work. And I looked at some of the worst ones I've seen. Hip Hop Locos, Unaware, Alien Origin, Bigfoot County, The Upper Footage, The Asylum Film Monster, Leaving DC, Zombie Diaries, Creature Lake, RWD, Hashtag Captured, Blair Witch 2016, VHS. I sit there and I go, I would rather watch that than these. Because it was short. I like the look of the film. Especially the older priest, good actor. The background, interesting setup. That gives it at least into the echelon of, I don't know. I'm sure if I do the list, I'll forget about putting this movie on the list. Because I already have fucking 96 movies. I have to stop it somewhere. But maybe in the realm of, I don't know, the Atticus Institute, maybe a little bit below that. I don't know, man. It's just one of those you look at, you go, there's some merit, but again, I think its biggest issue is that it's found footage. And you just don't make a movie in 16mm. Like I said, I'm repeating myself, but it's like, I like the look. You can keep the look by doing it, but, or if you want to put that, you do use it as part of the movie. It's a real movie, and then certain parts 16mm. You just still keep that aspect, but again, two priests fighting out the truth and stopping these nuns, and put at least a little dent in the hierarchy. That just to me would be a more interesting direction. That's just me though. So thanks for watching. We'll see you guys later. Bye bye.